this week. You can't really see what you had these first couple of weeks, but overall, what's it been like this past week, and just with the exhibition tomorrow, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Obviously, I think this time of year everybody feels good about the group. Everybody's undefeated, everybody's feeling good. So, positives. We got a lot of experience, a lot of returning kids who've played a lot of minutes. Great senior class, great leadership. That's going to help us early in the season as we try to find our way. So they've been there, done that. So I think that shows when we play. Things that I want to see us get better. We haven't had a lot of time to work on the offense. We've certainly worked on our shape and defending and trying to get all those things right. So I think it might take a little time for the offense to click. Especially graduating a couple of key players up there. But that's why you play Friday. We'll throw them out there Friday against Tulsa, who will be good competition, and we'll know a little bit more Friday night. But at this point, you're just excited to play. It's been a grind. They've been training. They've been working hard. They've been beating on each other a little bit, and they're just ready to play against somebody else.
How's that defense coming along? Do you think it could be a big factor for you guys?
It has to be. We've got the way we play with our back three and our two wing backs. We've got a lot of experience there, and we've got some depth. So that's going to have to be a mainstay for us. Goalkeeping last year would have been considered young, but they both have a year of experience now. So we would expect there to be an improvement in our goalkeeping. So yeah, the goalkeeper and back line needs to be a strength for us, especially early in the year as we try to find our feet in the offense.
Speaking of goalkeeping, you had Danny and Hannah switch off last year. Do you see that doing the same this year?
Early, yes. But, I've made it clear to everyone, I think in an ideal world, you'd have a starter and a backup. And if we can get to that point, super. They'll both play Friday because they both deserve that opportunity. And then, we'll make decisions based on what we see moving into the Lamar game. Whether it's splitting time or one of them starts, yet to be determined. But they'll both see time on Friday, and we'll be able to evaluate it a little bit better after that.
Charmaine was injured last season, out for the whole year. What improvements have you seen since she's come back?
Well, she just makes our team better. Her ability to get up and down the flank is amazing. She has an engine that just never stops. So, when we didn't have Charmaine in that position last year, it really, in the shape we play, it's crucial that your wingbacks can get up and down the flank, and we missed that with Charmaine. So I'm just happy to have her back out there. And before her injury, she was just full of confidence. She was actually a very dangerous offensive threat from that position. And I think once she gets a little bit more comfortable again, she looks great defensively. Her fitness is phenomenal. I think she just has to get a little bit more comfortable in the final third again, and that'll come.
Coach, the injury bug hit your team as hard as you could get last season. Have you kind of changed your approach as to how they, different times of practice or how they've recovered?
No, not really. The injuries we got last year were bizarre. We had concussions. We had contact injuries where somebody's ankle got kicked. We had planting injuries where somebody planted to take off after a jump and they pulled a muscle. So it wasn't, we had two pulled quads, a hamstring, and a strained calf where you're overtraining. It wasn't anything like that. It was more like that kid got kicked, that kid got hit with a ball, this kid got sick, Julia got a gash on her head. It was all more individual injuries as opposed to overtraining. So we haven't changed a whole lot. I think our strength conditioning, nutrition, trainers, they do a great job making sure our kids get the proper recovery. So we haven't changed a whole lot there. We're just hoping for a little bit better luck, I think.
How big is Hannah Webb in the midfield and defense? She's that player who can play almost any minute of the game.
Phenomenal. Webby might be the most improved player in the squad from when she arrived to where she is today. A little bit like Charmaine. She never, I know she does get tired, but it never looks like it. She can run all day, gets up and down the flank. She's really improved her left foot. So with Charmaine on the right and Hannah running on the left, and we have Claire Ganser, who's a very good player that'll get a ton of minutes in those spots as well. So we feel really good. That's one of the positions I think we're going to be very strong. But Webby particularly, her leadership, she's tough as nails. She's just a competitor, so she's going to be a huge factor in our success this year, I think.
Coach, they're playing with a lot of experience, a lot of minutes on her belt. Kim Rodriguez started all 18 games last year, a ton of minutes, and she's got experience with the Mexican national team. Yeah. How do players with international experience help OSU?
Well, it's massive. It's a level up. I think anytime that you go with especially the full national team, you're playing against pros and with pros, and you're training with women who this is their career. This isn't something they do in college and go to school or for fun. They're doing this for their career. So I think what Cam and every other player that goes to that level learns is how professionally they train, how serious they are, how they look after their bodies, how they recover, just all the things that we talk about but we don't really it's hard for us to get our kids to buy in all the time because they are going to school, they are college kids, it's a little different. So they get a little glimpse of that, and then obviously the competition level, it's a little bit faster, it's a little bit smarter, you have to think quicker, so she brings all those things back to our team and makes us better.
And what do you hope to see from her this season after a lot of minutes last season?
I mean, she's going to play a lot of minutes this year, I can tell you that. Her delivery on set plays is fantastic, so if she could chip in a few goals off free kicks, and maybe we can get a few goals off her corner kicks, that would be great. She'll play in the back, but she'll also play in the midfield, so I would love to see her become an offensive threat in the run of play. And then in the back line, she's really improved her communication. She came in as a sort of a quiet, shy, reserved 18-year-old, and now she's an international starter for Mexico, and she needs to vocalize. She sees the game so well, so she just needs to speak and make sure her voice is heard and be a leader.
Having a player like Adriana on the U.S. national team and then winning the World Cup, how big is that for your team and women's soccer in general?
Well, I mean, from our program, it's just something to be really proud of. I mean, here's a kid from Salina, Kansas, came through Stillwater, Oklahoma, and is a world champion. I mean, I think it hopefully shows recruits that we're talking to, hey, there's a pathway to get to the top through Stillwater. And 20 years ago you couldn't have said that. So I think that's really important for our program. For women's soccer, it's just a great story. I mean, everybody likes an underdog. Nobody at age 16, 17, nobody was talking about Adie Franch as a goalkeeper at the World Cup winning a championship. It just wasn't something you would talk about. And with her dedication, hard work, talent, I mean, she was just so driven. You could see it from day one here. So driven. She knew what she wanted to do, and nothing was going to get in her way, and she's continued that attitude into the pros. So proud of her. I watched her play, what was that, Saturday, I think? We had an off afternoon, and they were on national TV with Portland, and she was unbelievable. She made 5 ridiculous saves that we saw every day in training, but to do it at that level is unreal. So proud of AD, and we're working on getting her home. She's really busy, as you would imagine, but once their season ends, we're trying to get her back here to welcome her and honor her in Stillwater. I know she'd love to do it.
What are some of the young players that excite you on this team?
Well, Olivia Dow is special. She's a really good player. We knew that recruiting her. Watched her this summer, and she was tearing it up for her U19 team. And then she's continued that into preseason. She's young. She still has things to learn, but when she gets on the ball, she makes things happen. She's got tricks. She's got some spins, some flicks, some back heels, and she can finish. So she's one to watch. I think the crowd are going to love. She's a kid that gets you on the edge of your seat. She gets the ball, you kind of perk up, like what's going to happen next. So I think she's exciting. Gabriella Coleman came in last spring, so she's a little bit of an unknown to most people because the spring season's so low key. But Gabriella is super athletic up front. She's strong, she's powerful, needs to learn a little bit tactically and maybe what runs to make, but she is a handful. She's going to cause some problems for the other team's defense. Rebecca George came in, we got her late in the recruiting process, very composed midfielder. Physically is going to have to adjust to the speed and the strength of college soccer, but she's very composed, she's a good connecting midfielder, and she's a threat to score. So those 3 have done well. There's other kids that are going to get opportunities, but as far as the new kids, they stand out.
With the loss of Marlowe and Haley Ward this year, front 3 is pretty open. Who do you see filling in those gaps?
Well, Gabriella came in the spring and did a really nice job as our target forward. Olivia will play up there a ton. JC will play up there. She'll play mid and forward. Yokes will play in the midfield and up front. So we feel like between those kids, that'll be the majority of the minutes up top. Right now we're playing with 2 forwards the majority of the time. So those 4 kids will right now look like eating up those minutes. And we'll see if any of the freshmen step up when they're given that opportunity. But, that's a lot of firepower when you go behind them and out wide. Hannah Webb will chip in with some goals. Charmaine will chip in with some goals. We expect Julia and Kim Rodriguez and Cami. I don't know if there's anybody there that's going to score that 10 to 15. In our world, if you get 10 plus goals, you've had a heck of a season as a forward. We might have somebody do that, but I lean towards thinking it's more a bunch of kids that are going to score 5, 6, 7 goals, and that's fine. But I think we have a lot of players who are capable of doing that.
What excites you about the non-conference schedule? How do you think it's going to challenge you early?
Well, I'll tell you what, Penn State stands out. They're a perennial top 10 program, and I think they're ranked top 5 to start the season. So going to their place will be a massive test for us, but it's a no-lose situation. If you go there and win, well, you've got an amazing RPI win for the NCAA tournament. If you go there and you don't win, your RPI probably goes up because they're probably going to win 16, 17, 18 games anyway. So it's a great gauge for us. We're excited about that challenge. St. Louis are a really, really good team coming in here. They make the NCAA tournament, it seems like, every year. SMU are tipped to be very good this year, so that'll be a real challenge here. Oklahoma, of course, the Bedlam game is always massive. And, you know, our opening weekend, we play Lamar and UTSA. They're not the fancy names. They're not the names that people know, but I know both their coaches and I've seen both their teams, and they will be a challenge. So we've tried to make the non-conference very RPI friendly. You want to play some very tough competition. You also want to make sure you have a chance to win enough games, and you want to play teams that hopefully will go in their league and win a lot of games, and we think we've done that. So it'll be interesting. You know, bottom line for us is no matter who you play, you got to win enough games, and that'll be our focus.